Start again. Welcome back, guys, to stretching today. If you're using the playlist, pop it on now. And we're actually going to start a little bit differently today. We're going to start standing up. So whenever you're ready, just head back to your mat or your area that you're using. Now, as I just mentioned, all you need today is your band, if you're using one, also a cushion, and also just make sure you've got some water nearby. So we're just going to begin today with our feet hip distance apart. I'm going to tilt you up a little bit, hip distance apart. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we're just going to sweep those arms up to the sky and back down. Nice deep breath in. Sweeping the arms up as we breathe out and back down. And one more time, deep breath in and out. And this time, as we come down, we're going to lower down with the body into a hanging position. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see. Just hanging down, a slight bend in those knees, heavy head, heavy hands. Just allowing the whole body to flop. Gradually swaying a little from side to side. Remembering to keep breathing as we go, of course. And coming back to center. A nice deep breath in and out. And slowly, we're just going to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, really, really slowly. The neck and the head being the last thing that pops up. And roll those shoulders back as we do so and down into their sockets. Well done. Now we're just going to take the chin down to the chest. I'm just going to roll it over to the left-hand side, over to the right-hand side, over to the left-hand side, and over to the right-hand side. And with a deep breath, we're going to take the arms up above the head, onto the back of the head, and as we exhale, just applying some pressure to the back of the head, bringing that chin down to the chest and stretching out through the shoulders and back. Nice and slow and controlled on that breathing. And bring those arms back down, bring the head back up, and just giving everything a little bit of a shake off. Now we're going to start today with a little bit of stretching into the IT band. So I'm just going to tip you guys down because you don't need to see my head now, so that you can see exactly what my feet are doing. So we're going to start again with our feet just hip distance apart. We're going to take the left leg over the right leg. So we're going to step it in front of the other leg. Perfect. And then we're just going to fold forwards. So just going to fold gradually down. And now you should feel a very nice and potentially very tight stretch down the outer side of the right leg. Now that muscle that you can feel yelping at you right now is indeed the IT band. A really common place to be very tight in runners, and often the cause of a lot of knee injuries as well. So a really important one to stretch out. We often remember our quads and our hamstrings, but not the side. So a really good stretch to just keep in your repertoire. And now we've reached this position, we're just going to apply some pulsing. So lower and rise, lower and rise within your own range of motion depth. So if you can't touch the floor, don't worry at all. We're just pulsing through and up, through and up. And coming back to a full stretch now. Nice deep breathing for 10 seconds. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. A really, really slow and controlled rise of that body, shoulders and head being the last, and step that left foot out to the side for me. Give those legs a little bit of a wiggle off. It's going to feel a bit funky because it's not somewhere we often stretch. Okay, we're going to take the right leg over the left this time, so stepping it over. And once again, we're just going to work into that fold, just as we did on the other side. So when you're ready, lowering yourself slowly down, finding that stretch in the outside of the left leg, and perhaps into the back of the left knee as well. That's where our IT band connects into that joint. So that's why we often feel a little bit of tension there as well. And once again, just applying our little pulse here. So moving a little bit deeper, then relaxing. A little bit deeper, and then relaxing. A few more, keep that breathing going. And really now coming into that deep stretch for 10 seconds. Holding, 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 but keep breathing. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Once again, nice and slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, we are going to rise up. The shoulders come back and the head comes up as the last thing. And step that right foot back to the middle and give those legs a little bit of a shake. Well done. Grab yourself a little sip of water, guys, if you need one. Just always, as I say, during stretching, it's so important that we stay really nice and hydrated. So now we're going to come down to the floor, grab your cushion, and we're going to come into our seated cross-legged position. As always, try and cross your legs the opposite way to the way that you would normally cross them. So the opposite way to which your body is telling you to do so. And once we've reached here, we're just going to take a moment to start calming the body now that we're on the floor. So we're going to pop the hands onto the knees nice and softly. We're going to take a roll back of those shoulders so they come up and all the way down. And closing those eyes down, just put one hand onto your chest, one hand onto the belly, and together we're going to take a really nice deep breath in through that nose and out through that mouth. And one more in through that nose. Expanding that chest and out through the mouth. Well done. Hands back to the knees. We're going to put the right hand down to the floor and we're going to bring the left hand up and over as we stretch through the side of the body. Now, for anyone who's been doing a lot of core work this week, this is going to be one that gets you, especially if you've been working those obliques. But you also might feel this one down into your back as well. If you've slept funny at all, or just in general, if you have a tight back or are constantly kind of sat down for your job, then this is really going to help stretch that out. And in 3, 2, and 1, that left hand comes down to the floor. And we're going to walk those hands around, stretching as far out as we can until we get to the middle. And then we're going to reach those fingers out, lower the head to the floor, and just work a little bit of a stretch through that back, especially through the lower back, the backs of the hips, pelvic area. And also you should feel a nice stretch through those arms as well. And then we're going to walk over to the left. The left hand comes to the floor and the right comes up over as we stretch into the right hand side. Well done. Nice deep breathing here. Try to just really focus today on you. Your needs, your body, your time, your training. This session is all about you. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Once again, we're going to go down to that floor, walk the hands round to the center for me, and come into that lower back stretch, lowering that head down, keeping that bum on the floor. Ooh. Well done, guys. I'm just going to stay here for a little longer this time. Remember that breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walking the hand back up, bringing ourselves back to a nice seated position. Well done. Okay, we're going to be stretching those legs out in front. I'm just going to turn sideways on so that you guys can see me, but you stay where you are. Now for this, I'd recommend removing your cushion from underneath you if you can. If you're on a really uncomfortable floor surface, then do keep it there. We're going to pop the legs out in front. Make sure you've got a band nearby or your strap or whatever you're using today. All we're going to do to start with is pop the left and right hand down to the side and do something which is going to seem really simple, but that is bend one knee and then bend the other. Now, all we're doing here is just getting used to feeling a bit of a stretch through one leg. So when the leg is fully out, that is when we're going to be stretching that leg. And when it's bent, we're putting the pressure through the other leg. So we're going to lift ourselves forward. We're going to keep our right knee bent, our left leg a bit straighter, still with a small bend in that knee though, please bear in mind. And all we're going to do is bring our arms up and slowly lower the chest towards the leg. And when you reach that point that you can feel that stretch in the back of the left hamstring, lower those hands. Flex those toes back towards the forehead. And we're just going to sit into this hamstring stretch. Option, of course, here to wrap your band around the foot and use that to bring the toes back in, should you wish. But just by working one leg at a time, this allows us to go really nice and deep. Especially for you, Gemma, who I know you mentioned you've got some really tight hamstrings. In through that nose, out through that mouth. It's not going to be pretty, but it is going to help. Well done. We're going to work through this a couple of times today. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, rising up. We're going to bend that left knee, lower the right knee, bring the arms up, lower the chest forwards, bring the toes towards the forehead and move into that stretch on the right hand side. Now, you should feel some difference between the left and right leg. If you're right-handed, you'll likely feel that the right-hand side is a little bit tighter. If you're left-handed, you'll likely feel it the other way around. And this is completely normal. It's absolutely nothing to worry about. It's just because we put more pressure through our dominant side of the body without even realizing, which causes more tension and therefore more tightness for us to stretch out, which is why single leg stretching is actually really important for us. Not knocking double leg stretching, but single leg stretching's got its place. Well done, guys. Keep the breathing going. Last chance to get a little bit deeper now if you wish. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and one, releasing off. Just going to come back up, pop those hands back down to the sides again. And now we're going to move through a little bit of calf and shin stretching. So we're going to do what you may know from your childhood as good toes and naughty toes. So we're going to do a really big point of the toes. Now, this should give you a nice stretch all the way down the front of those shins and into the fronts of those ankles and tops of the feet as well. And we're going to counteract this then by bringing those toes all the way back and feeling a nice deep stretch through those calves. And we're just going to move through a few repetitions of this. So at your own pace, whether you need shin or calf, feel free to hold whichever one for a longer period of time, just moving through that good toes and naughty toes position. Well done. Should be a good one for you, Elle, with those tight calves. Remember, don't rush it. We've got plenty of time to really work through those muscles. If you want, you can do one foot point while the other one flexes, and then vice versa as well. That's an option. And last few now, before we bring those feet in to the middle, knees go out to the sides. Pop those hands onto the feet for me and just allow those knees to flop out. Now we're just going to work through the hips a little here. So if you can lower yourself down a little with the chest being proud and forward, and just start to feel a nice stretch through that pelvic area. It's going to really feel a little bit tasty. Well done, guys. And with every exhale, remember, it's an opportunity to either stay where you are, be comfortable, maybe that's enough for you today, or an opportunity to increase that stretch further, lower a little bit more if you want a bit more from the stretch and if you're not quite feeling it enough now. These are the opportunities that we give ourselves to check in with how we're feeling, how we're doing, and how we can progress. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, slowly bringing yourself up. Grab a little sip of your water. I've lost mine. Oh, it's up there. There we go. Grab a little sip. And we are going to go back into exactly the same circuit. So bring your legs back out in front of you. Give them a little bit of a wiggle out. And when you're ready, bending the right leg, keeping the left leg flatter. Remember, always a slight bend. We're going to bring those arms up in front of us and lower down towards the floor. Bring those toes up to the head and lower into that hamstring stretch on the left leg. Now, this should feel hopefully a little bit looser than last time, but that doesn't mean that we stop there. We use it as an opportunity to stretch further and challenge a little bit more out of our body. So with the next exhale, see if you can push any further into that hamstring. Or perhaps you just want to point those toes a little bit closer to the forehead, which will also help to increase the stretch. And we're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch around for me. That right leg goes flatter, the left leg bends. When you're ready, the hands come up to parallel. Lower the chest towards those legs. And when you hit that stretch, lower the hands too. And remember, bring those toes back towards the forehead. For me, this is the really, really tense side because I'm right-handed. But for you, just tune into what your body is feeling. Allow it to have this moment of tension. Allow it to be challenged by the stretch so that coming out the other side of it, it will feel relieved, relaxed, and de-stressed. Keep it going, guys. Well done, Al. Well done, Gemma. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gradually bring yourself back up. Those hands are going to come behind us as once again we move through those good toes and naughty toes. So however you want, we've already had one round. So just find what you need from those points and flexions. Remember, you can do one leg opposite to the other, or you can do both the same way. It's a really easy stretch that we can use pretty much anywhere. You can do this on the train, under your desk, you can do it in bed. So this is a really good one to remember, especially for us runners, because our calves get so tight. Well done, guys. Last few stretches here. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those feet together, the knees come out to the side, hands to the feet, and slowly we're going to lower chest proud down into that groin stretch once more. Allow the head to flop if you wish, but try and keep those shoulders back and gradually lowering a little bit further, feeling a little bit more depth, feeling a little bit closer to the ground, but also to your body and what it's feeling. Great work, guys. Keep it going. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rising back up. Once again, take the moment for a little break. Wiggle those legs out. And whenever you're ready, meet me using your cushion. Pop it on the floor and just come to kneeling for me. Whenever you're ready, no rush. We're going to start by just sitting back onto those heels. So you might find it a little comfier to shuffle forwards a little bit for this first bit. And we're just going to work through a little bit of upper body stretching here. So we're going to take the right arm up, use the left arm to bring it across the body, and try and push that right shoulder down as much as you can. So try not to let the shoulder be up near the ear. Try and let it be nice and relaxed. And on your next exhale, tip the head over to the left-hand side as well. And that's just going to increase that stretch a little bit more. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Use the left arm to take hold of the right elbow, bring it up overhead, and stretch into that tricep for me. You should feel a nice stretch down the front of the arm. Well, what is the back, but is now the front of the arm, and perhaps into the armpits as well. Try and keep yourself upright. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release both arms off. Give them a good swing and shake out for me. And we're going to bring the left arm up and across the body using the right hand to bring it in. Once again, try and keep that left shoulder nice and relaxed. And on the next exhale, tilting the head over to the right hand side and just increasing that stretch a little bit more. Down the left hand side of the neck, into the shoulder blade, and also potentially into the bicep a little bit as well, especially for anyone who's been doing some strength in that upper body as well. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, using the right hand, take a hold of the left elbow, bring that arm up overhead, and move into that tricep stretch. Ooh. Well done, guys. I'm just going to come check we're okay whilst we're doing this one. Great work. Well done, Elle. Well done, Jem. Keep it going. Fab. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just let them go down to the floor. Going to bring the arms behind us, palms to the floor, but only the fingertips. And we're just going to take a nice deep breath. And as we take the deep breath, we're just going to expand that chest up and open towards the sky. Stretching through that chest, rounding the back, and sigh it away. Sink back in. Well done. Perfect. We're going to step the left foot forwards now. So bring it forwards. Use the cushion on the right knee, of course, if you need a little bit of comfort. Well done. We're going to turn round to the right-hand side and take a hold of the right foot. Now, if you're using your strap today, just grab a hold of it and use it to loop the foot and use this as a little helper to maneuver that foot into place. The foot is going to be in a completely different position for every single one of us. And that's not due to flexibility. It's actually just due to how your joints are built as well. So don't worry if your foot is a lot lower or a lot higher than mine, or you're falling over all over the place like I am. Gradually find where you want to be, which for me is not in this stretch today, apparently. And you should start to feel a nice deep stretch down the front of that quad. If you need a little bit more, then just bend into that left leg a little bit, and that is going to send it a little bit more deep into the front of the right thigh. Well done. Great work. If you're using that band, remember you can also increase the stretch by decreasing the length of the band as you go through the time. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, releasing the foot down. We're going to step the left foot a little bit further in front of us, and we're going to slowly sit down onto that leg, feeling a nice deep stretch through that left hamstring now. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Be strong. You can hold this stretch. If you need it deeper, point those toes up towards you. We're not going to stay here for long because it's very intense. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up out. We're going to step that left foot over to the right-hand side of the mat. Lower the knee to the left-hand side. Grab your cushion and bring it to the front. And we're going to do our pigeon. So either on your hands, on the forearms, or if you wish, right down on the pillow, just stretching through that hip, through that glute, and really feeling that depth. Remember to keep checking in with yourself during this stretch. Are you tensing anything? That could be your forehead, it could be your eyes, it could be your nose, it could be your back, it could be your glute, it could be your knee, anything. Let it go. Melt into the stretch. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up onto those forearms. Step back. And we're going to put our left knee down on our cushion and step the right knee forwards this time. Make sure you've got your band nearby if you're using one. And when you're ready, we're going to turn to face that left leg this time, and using either our hand or the band, grab a hold of the left foot and come in to our quad stretch on this side. Don't worry if you fall over. Don't worry about it. We all do it. Perfect. And if you want a little bit more, remember that little bend through the front as well. We're going to try and hold this about the same amount of time we held on the other side. And that's just going to allow us to really work through the quad. Having worked through the IT band already, this should really help to open up those legs. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, lowering that left foot to the floor. Step that right foot a little bit further forward before lowering yourself over and coming into that very intense hamstring stretch. I promise it's the last one for those hamstrings. We're going to tip that toe up towards the forehead if we can. It's intense. Breathe through it. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, rising up, out. The right foot comes over to the left side of the mat. The knee comes down to the right. Ooh. Hopefully your mat doesn't do what mine just did. There we go. Bring your cushion through to the front. And we're going to lower into that pigeon one last time. So either on the hands, if that's where's comfortable for you, or down onto those elbows, or indeed head to the pillow, should you wish. Well done, Elle. Now, really start to close those eyes down if you can, if you haven't already. And remember, are you tensing anything? Is anything, any part of the body not fully relaxed? Let it go. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, rising up onto those hands. Well done. And just coming down onto the bum now, coming out of that position, grab yourself a nice big sip of water. before we go into the final section of today's stretching class, which is going to be lying down on the back. So bring that cushion around, gradually lower yourself down. And we're going to begin with the knees bent today. So knees bent, feet flat to the floor. I'll wait for everyone to be ready before we get started. So don't worry if you're still having a wiggle. Fab. Okay. So when you have arrived with your feet flat on the floor, your knees bent, we're going to bring those knees in even further. We're going to hug them into the chest with both arms. And we're going to rock from left over to right, nice and slowly, using the floor to massage that spine. Stop on any points where you feel a specific tension or where you feel that you could use a little bit more. Well done. Keep it going. And coming back to center, release those legs out. Give the hips a bit of a wiggle. And we're going to move into our really deep glute stretch now. So bringing the right leg on top of the left. Now we're going to lean through that gap. Take a hold of the shin today rather than the back of the leg if you can. And use that to lever yourself down. Now that shin hold is going to increase the stretch a bit more. So if you need, release it and go for a hamstring hold instead. That's fine. But if you're happy to go a little deeper today, that shin stretch, that shin hold, is really going to help with that. And again, just check in. Check in with the glute. Say hello. Are you tight? Are you relaxed? Are you tense? Can you chill out, please? And when you breathe out, let it go. And with every exhale, we have an opportunity again. An opportunity to either stay where we are, perhaps it's enough, or an opportunity to squeeze a little bit more of that stretch. Remember, we should never push past an 8 out of 10. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, we're going to lower the left leg flat. Use the left hand to take a hold of the right knee. Turn to the right hand side, arm out to the side, and bring that the right leg over to the left. And just nicely rotate through that spine. This is one of my favorite stretches. I literally do this every morning when I get out of bed. We often forget how much pressure we put through the core of the body, which is supported by the spine. It literally connects the movements we do in the upper half of our body to the lower, whether that's running, whether that's reaching for something out of a cupboard whilst we're standing. All of that puts tension on the core, the back, and the spine. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, releasing back to center now. Pop that right leg down in a bent position. Bring the left leg up onto the right and leaning through the gap. We're either going to go for the shin hold or the hamstring hold, the shin hold being the deeper option. And we're going to move into that glute stretch on the left-hand side. Now, you may find that you need a different hold on one side to the other because of different levels of tightness. That's fine. Nothing to worry about at all. Perfectly normal. Keep the breathing going. Keep the body nice and relaxed. And remember, with every exhale, do you want to go a little bit further? And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The right leg goes out flat. We take the left knee in the right hand. The left arm goes out to the side and we turn to look at it. And we bring that left knee over to the right hand side for our spinal stretch in the opposite direction. Well done, Gemma. Keep that breathing going. Closing those eyes down. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, coming back to center. Feet flat again for me. We're just going to stay here for a second. Give the hips a wiggle if you need. And just to counteract the stretching that we've just done, we're going to do one beyond our normal range of motion glute bridge. So our hands stay flat to the floor, and we're slowly going to lift those hips, plant the feet into the floor, lift those hips, and go a little bit further than you normally would. Bring the hands up into the small of the back, or even use fists if you wish. And that's just going to counter stretch that tightness in the back. And lower. We don't need to hold it for too long, just a little bit of time to make it effective. As we lower, pop those legs back out in front of us, stretch them out. And now we're just going to take one hand to the stomach, one hand to the chest. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And now I'm just going to leave you for a minute to think about your own breath, your own rest, to allow your own body to breathe. And I'll come back to you when it's time to wake up. When you're ready, just bring me a little bit of a wiggle to those toes, to those fingers. Keep those eyes closed as we bring the hands together, interlace the fingers and bring them up over the head, stretching the hands away, pointing the toes, tensing every single muscle in the body, those glutes, those thighs, those calves, those quads, everything. And in 3, 2, 1, let it all go. Melt into that mat. And rolling ourselves over onto one side, into our fetus position. Keeping the eyes closed. Just taking a moment here to feel the comfort with our nourished body. And either staying here if you want to spend some more time here, or if you're ready to end today's session, using the hands to gradually push you up into a cross-legged position, keeping the eyes closed. Now try and cross the legs in the opposite direction to the way your body wants you to. Bring those hands to the knees. Roll those shoulders up to the ears. back and down. And we're going to end today's class how we began, all together, with a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Pop those hands over the eyes and gradually blink the eyes back open and gradually remove those hands to allow the body to just gradually be filled with light rather than overwhelmed as we end today's session. Well done, guys. Just going to come back over and see how we're doing. How are we? Are we a bit zen? I'm a bit zen now. I think I need a nap. Yeah, got some nods. Well done. So usual things, guys. Please make sure that you stay really nice and hydrated for the next 24 hours. This weekend especially is being quite hot, so that will make a difference as well. We didn't work quite as deeply as we did last week, so these stretches shouldn't hopefully cause any aches at all, but you may feel a little bit stiff when you wake up tomorrow morning. And if you're going out for a run, try and just do a little bit of mobility work before you go. Things like open the gates with your hips, things like some walkouts from standing to high plank, and things like that will just help to move that body before you get going if it's feeling a little bit achy. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Next week, just to let you know, we don't have stretching for runners, just due to the bank holiday weekend, but we will be back the week after that with a class as well for you. Obviously, next week we still have our strength classes though. So if you do fancy a little something on Tuesday or Thursday, then we will be available, of course. And to everyone who normally does our stretching classes, on Sunday, I'm actually going to resend around this session from today, just as a little reminder, if you fancy doing anything over the bank holiday weekend, so that you've got the link at the top of your inbox and you can kind of give it a go if you want to as well, if you're looking to just do something a little bit, maybe when you get back from the pub, who knows. Perfect, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and as usual, I'll stay on in case you've got any questions, but enjoy and have a lovely rest of the weekend. Bye.